Fried chicken, that beautiful golden brown, crispy textured chicken that we got from the States and now is a part of a binge diet, has to be talked about. I'm going to cover 5 of these places and I'm going to review all of them with respect to texture, flavor, quality of meat, size, and price. I'm ordering in all of these and the delivery time was 40 minutes plus or minus 2 minutes for all the places. Having said that, let's get the birds frying, shall we?
Grubbo.
The Barb of Fried Chicken, KFC. It was first introduced in the 90s back when this was in Brigade Road, and then ever since we've had like a lot of variations with a lot of the local places for the same fried chicken. Unlike the past, where there was a crispy version and a non-crispy version, now we have the smoke grill and the hot and crispy version. And what we are gunning for is the solo bucket, which has 2 pieces of fried chicken and 4 pieces of chicken strips. We're going to start with texture. Now, because this is delivery, one could expect a little bit of sogginess, and surprisingly, this is very minimal and it's pretty crispy as well on top of all of this. And the bite is a pretty decent combination between the crispiness and the soft meat. Therefore, it stands at a decent 3.5 out of 5. I don't know if my palate has changed or if the recipe has changed. What I do know is that the flavor is not the same as it used to be, and it is a lot more milder. I don't know why they call it hot and crispy, because it doesn't feel as hot as it should. And for this reason alone, it stands at a 3.5 out of 5. The meat was tender, which means the quality of meat was pretty much up there. I mean, we have to give it that. Somehow, it was very well cooked, and overall, this gives this rating a beautiful 4 out of 5. When we come to this size, I don't know if I've become bigger or the pieces have become smaller, but whatever it is, I'm not as excited as it used to be before, and therefore, as a result, they stand at 3 out of 5. Having said that, the solo bucket by itself had 4 chicken strips as well, and these were pretty decent size, and therefore, if we had to just look at it from the solo bucket perspective, that will get a 3.7 out of 5 for the size. Now, the price of the solo bucket is 384 rupees, which, according to me, is frankly a pretty decent deal, considering that although I was supposed to go for 4 pieces of fried chicken, the 2 pieces of fried chicken with the 4 pieces of chicken strip actually did a pretty decent thing, and which is why it deserves a 3.5 out of 5. So this brings KFC's overall rating to 3.54 out of 5. Founded in 2015 by Mr. Suresh Kumar, Leon Grill has grown leaps and bounds because of a lot of online orders, and it's been the hub for burgers, wraps, and fried chicken. And because we're doing an episode of fried chicken, we are going to cover their hot and spicy fried chicken, and this is what we have to say. There's a lot of batter to the chicken, which means that there is going to be a little bit of sogginess when it comes to delivery, which also means that the bite that you take is going to be like a combination of crispy, a little bit of soggy batter, which means there's a little bit of doughiness, and there's also the softness from the chicken. So overall, that's not the best kind of texture that we're looking for. Having said that, it stands at a 3 out of 5. The flavor works really well with the Indian palate. Now, there's a hint of spiciness, and the spice blend was really well mixed. Usually, there's a hint of greasiness that comes from the oil, which is actually pretty minimal in this case, and therefore leaves the rating at a respectable 3.8 out of 5 for flavor. When it comes to the quality of meat, the meat was fairly tender, and there was a hint of chewiness to it. Although the meat was very well cooked, there was a bit of harshness when it came to ripping the meat off the bone. For this, it gets 3.4 out of 5. The size of the fried chicken was pretty decent, and it looked very filling as well as it actually was. For this, it gets a 3.7 out of 5. The 4 pieces of the hot and spicy chicken costed me 384 rupees. For price, it stands at a rating of 3.5 out of 5. The fried chicken and Leon Grill gets a respectable 3.48 out of 5. Alright, I didn't know that fried chicken was being served at this place. It's called the Burger King and they serve BK fried chicken. The texture of the chicken was pretty interesting because firstly, the batter wasn't too intense. It was between the mild and moderate, and it didn't really have like a super crispy bite. The bite was decently crispy, which means the overall bite was a combination of something which is mildly crispy with the hint of softness from the meat. So this gives texture a 3.4 out of 5. The flavor of the fried chicken can loosely be called interesting because it doesn't taste like any other fried chicken that is available in the town, which is a good thing, but it's not exciting either. There's nothing special about the flavor. Although there's no hint of greasiness from the oil, it doesn't necessarily make the flavor any better. It's very mild and the palate wasn't necessarily excited about this, which leaves the flavor at a rating of 2.8 out of 5. When it comes to the quality of the meat was super tender and the meat was very well cooked, which means that the meat was easily falling off the bone, which left me surprised and which deservedly gives this rating of 4 out of 5 for the quality of meat. The size of the chicken pieces weren't too big or small, they were just in between, which is why it deserves a rating of 3.5 out of 5. 4 pieces of the BK fried chicken costed me 439 bucks, inclusive of all taxes. That's steep, that's the most that I've spent in this entire list, and that's why it deserves a 3 out of 5 for the price. This therefore means that the fried chicken at Burger King comes at a rating of 3.34 out of 5. The classic Indian fried chicken from Meat and Meat is next on the list. There was a lot of batter on the chicken, which means that there was a lot of crunchiness, but also as a result of the batter, there was also a little bit of sogginess to a few of the pieces, which therefore left the entire bite with like a combination of crispiness with a little bit of doughiness, and then there's also the soft bite from the meat, giving the overall texture a 3.5 out of 5. The American concept fried chicken definitely had Indian flavors to it. There were hints of spiciness, but they also had like this hint of greasiness from the oil that I could taste, and the flavor didn't necessarily excite me, which means that the flavor is at a 3.3 out of 5 for the rating. The meat was slightly tender and it was pretty decently cooked as well, but the meat took a little bit of effort to rip it off the bone, which leaves this at a 3.3 out of 5 for the rating. The size of the fried chicken was pretty good. I mean, arguably could be the biggest of the lot, and therefore leaves it at a rating of 3.9 out of 5. The classic Indian fried chicken Chota bucket came at a cost of 408 rupees, inclusive of all taxes, which is pretty alright at first, but then comes at a rating of 3.35 out of 5. This brings the overall rating of the fried chicken and meat at 3.47 out of 5. This place doesn't have too many outlets in Bangalore, but don't let that fool you because this place packs a punch. The batter was not too heavy or light, and there was a hint of sogginess to it, which means that the bite was a pretty decent combination of crunchiness, a little bit of doughiness, and softness from the meat, which leaves the overall rating at 3.4 out of 5 for texture. The first bite into the chicken actually made me feel nice. It actually reminded me of good old KFC. The flavor wasn't too mild or strong, it was just what I was looking for. And the hint of greasiness from the oil was very minimal, which leaves the flavor at a good 3.8 out of 5. The meat was decently tender and it was very well cooked, which meant that the meat came off the bone pretty easily, and this means that the rating for the quality of meat is at a 3.6 3.6 out of 5. The size of the fried chicken neither felt overwhelming nor did they feel like they wouldn't do the job. They were just perfectly in between both of them, and this led to the rating of 3.65 out of 5. The 4 pieces of fried chicken costed me 299 rupees inclusive of all taxes, which means that the big chicken is the best of the lot and therefore deserves a rating of 3.9 out of 5. This brings the overall rating of the fried chicken and big chicken to a very respectable 3.67 out of 5, which means it is the best place to order in from the entire list that we made in our city, Bengaluru. There are many other places in the city that serve fried chicken, but there are very few of them that we could cover due to logistical reasons. Having said that, I'm sure that 5-Star Chicken is one of these places that a lot of us have tried at, and I can confidently say that it deserves a rating between 3.3 and 3.5 overall for the fried chicken that is available at 5-Star Chicken. Having said that, thank you for your support. Do like, share, and subscribe, and keep chewing and chugging, you beautiful soul. Until next time, hell yeah!